Good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to see you and to be meeting every Wednesday morning. It's a lovely light in the middle of my week. Today we're going to talk about tapas, which is one of the niyamas, and we'll talk more about this in later class. We're going to work on tapas for a little bit, but tapas is a concept that originates in the word, the Sanskrit word tapas, and it has to do with what hens do when they're brooding. So it has to do with that warmth. It also has to do with discipline, and in Jainism, it's a very serious ascetic discipline. And in yoga, the discipline that we're talking about is the discipline of what we do in the mornings. We get together, we are on our mat, we're disciplined to appear, to be here now. Atta is the word, yoga now, here. And also the discipline that tapas reminds us about is not the discipline of beating ourselves up. It's a discipline of a middle way, of a way to manage our body and our mind and our emotions and our spirit that allows us to move forward, to change, to take on challenges. So that in yoga, it means that sometimes I know that I am able to do some postures and others elude me, and I tend to avoid those that elude me. So tapas is the discipline to work towards championing postures that you cannot do, and in life things that you avoid and find challenging. So we're going to work on tapas. I have a lot of work to do, a few lifetimes actually, but we'll begin with the sun salutation. Okay, we're just going to stand at the front of our mat and with our arms at our side in a mountain pose. Once again, feeling that beautiful grounding that we can in our feet. We can stretch our toes out, feel them elongate on the mat, feel our weight shift between the front of the mat of our feet to the back of our feet. We can lift up our toes and stretch them out, and we can move to the front and we can move to the back. We can move to the front and we can stand up on our toes and then come down. We can do that a few times, standing up on our toes and coming down, standing up on our toes and coming down. And now we're just going to begin our sun salutation. And we're going to raise our arms up, inhaling, and then exhaling down into a forward fold. We're going to inhale, halfway lift, exhale, hands to the mat, inhale, right knee back on the ground, lifting up. And we're just going to stay here for a moment, lifting up, our hands raised, breathing, inhaling and exhaling, feeling a lovely back bend. And then we're going to exhale and stay in plank for a moment. Now, plank is a pose that one could imagine has some heat in it. And since the tapas is related to fire, we're going to work on developing a little bit of heat in our class today. So we're just going to stay here in plank for a moment. Then we're going to go knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga down to the mat and into a lower cobra. So that's just pushing your hands in, keeping your hips on the ground, extending your toes to the back, and feeling that beautiful extension. Now we're going to push back into our downward dog, and we can stand up on our tippy toes and feel our sits bones heading up to the ceiling. We'll want to maintain the link between our ribs and our hips so that our ribs don't stick out in the front. And we're going to feel in this pose, just as we do in the plank, we're going to feel our back opening up, our shoulders are allowing us to really open up. Our arms are rotating out. It's an external rotation. And we feel the weight moving into our heels and the lightness in our hips. Now we can, I think we're just going to go forward into an upward dog here. We're going to do a bit of a variation on the sun salutation. We're just going to, we can move our toes, point our toes, or we can leave them like this. And I just want us to turn our elbows in towards each other. Make sure our arms are below our shoulders and feel our heels moving backwards. And make sure we have no strain in our lower back. The object of this is to open up our upper back. And now we're going to go back into downward dog. And exhale here. We're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And on our next inhalation, we're going to bring our right leg forward between our hands, and then our left leg forward, and we're going to hang suspended. You can hold on to your ankles if you like. You can cross your arms so that your hands are suspended inside your bent elbows. If you hold on to your ankles, you can feel you can add a little bit of heat to your posture by bending your elbows and extending them out while you're hanging suspended. Now we're going to come all the way up, inhaling, look up, and then our arms come down as we exhale and we stand into Dandasana. And we're going to try the other side, and you're invited to this time work with your left leg going back. So we're going to inhale, raise our arms up, look up, exhale, arms extend. We are forward in forward fold, a beautiful posture that allows us to think about what it means to go inside. Then we're going to come up halfway. Inhaling, exhaling again. Left leg back and your knee down. Your toe extended back. Arms up, look up. And then hands down, framing your right front foot. And then you skip back into a plank. Now here, we're going to once again feel the energy moving in two directions. Yoga is so much about opposition and the beauty of opposition. The energy moving out our heels and also the tip of our head. And we're just going to rest here for a moment. If you're tired, you can come down into a child's pose. If you want to, you can avoid this altogether and stay in child's pose. Okay, now we're just going to come down. I'm going to come down knees, chest, chin, and then up into a downward dog. So here, once again, we're on the tops of our feet. We are using our glutes. We're making sure we don't have a lot of strain in our lower back, and we don't have any strain in our neck. We're going to tip backwards with our feet and move into downward dog. exhaling and inhaling. We'll do 5 exhalations and inhalations here. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. And then left leg forward, right leg forward. We're hanging suspended. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up, look up, and exhale. Okay, now we can move our shoulders. Sometimes they get a bit tight. We can embrace our shoulders here. One arm on top and then the other. And then we can roll our shoulders back, roll our shoulders forward, up, shoulders down, shoulders up, shoulders down, shoulders forward, shoulders back, shoulders forward, shoulders back, and then all the way around, first towards the back, and then towards the front. Okay, now we're going to do two more of those sun salutation A, and we're just going to do them without too much conversation on my part. I'm going to mainly do inhalation and exhalation. Okay, inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, left leg back, plank. Knees, chest, chin. Inhale. Exhale, downward dog. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths. Inhale. 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 And then right leg forward, left leg meeting it, forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, exhale, and all the way up and down. Okay. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Left leg back, knee down. Inhale, exhale into plank. And knees, chest, chin. Inhale into upward dog. Exhale into downward dog. 3 breaths. Inhale. 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 Inhale, left leg forward, right leg forward. Exhale into forward fold, and then all the way up. Look up, inhale, and then arms down. Good. Now I think we're really quite warmed up and feeling the limberness of our body in the morning. So we're going to do some energizing postures. We're going to move from Tadasana. We're just going to stand in Tadasana, and we're going to move into tree pose. And that I shake my arms out a lot, and we can do that. We can do our adrenal gland shake right now, actually, now that we're up. We can just shake our limbs out for a minute. This is supposed to get your adrenal glands going. I don't know whether it does, but it feels good, as James Brown used to say. Okay, now we'll stand in Tadasana, and we're just going to, now I stand near the wall because my balance is unpredictable, and I see nothing wrong with holding on or touching the wall when you need to. So we're just going to lift our right leg up in front, our right knee, and we're going to move it to the side. Then we're going to move it to the back. Then we're going to move it to the front, to the side, to the back, front, side, back, oops. And then we're going to lift it up and put it into our free pose. Now you can put it down here if you like, on your ankle, on your calf, above your knee, wherever it is you feel comfortable. And then we're going to find a focal point, which is very important in meditation. And we're going to, oops, sorry, I'm a little bit, okay. We're going to find a focal point and we're going to lift our arms into whatever we can manage today. In my case, I think it's prayer pose, but you can extend your arms out. You can extend your arms out. You can bend forward in this pose. Oops. You can do whatever you like. Now, if you fall out, there's no shame. All you need to do is move back into the posture. And this is part of the Tapas discipline, is always working towards making your posture your own and finding that steadiness. So here we are. Now we're going to lift our knee up and put our foot down, put our arms down, and we're going to do the same thing, excuse me, on the other side. I'm losing my voice. So we're going to lift our knee up. We're going to move it to the side, move it to the back, move it to the front, move it to the side, to the back, to the front, side, back, front. And now we're going to put our foot wherever we can manage. Now, I use my hand. Some teachers don't really like that. So you can use your hands or not. This time I'm just going to put it on my calf, my foot on my calf. Make sure that the hip, the leg is going out, that you feel your weight balanced on your foot, your balancing foot, and that you make sure that your head is up, that you're not okay. And then I'm going to put my hands in prayer pose here and just stand for a moment and think about the beauty of this middle way discipline. Working hard enough so that you feel yourself changing over time, and not too hard to feel that you're punishing yourself. Okay, now if you want, you can bend at the hips and move forward, seeing if you can, oops, if you can, oops, bend down, and then come up, and then put your foot down. Okay, now, we're going to go to warrior pose 2, and all this requires is to find 3 or 4 feet out, 3 feet out or so, our front foot facing towards this wall, our back foot in about 45 degrees, the arch of our feet, both feet rising up. We feel this is a kind of ignition to give us lots of energy, that beautiful inner arch of our feet. And we're just going to bend our front knee. Now I have to squeeze out a little bit. And with our arms extended, and we're feeling here once again the opposition in yoga between our front thigh and our back thigh. Each of them is moving out and up. Our arms are extending out. So we're moving in many directions at once. We feel the extension in our head, our legs moving, or we can go a little bit deeper, perhaps, always having this at 45 degrees, 90 degrees. And we're just going to rest here, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling, feeling this torso moving up, our tailbone tipping down, Our shoulders are relaxed. And now we're going to move forward in an extended side angle. And we can put our hand, our elbow here, and our arm over our head to our ear, feeling once again our torso turning towards the sun in the sky. And we're just feeling the ease of this pose, the ease and the steadiness, the sukha and the sthira. We're inhaling and exhaling. Now we're going to extend forward, and we're going to put our hand, we're going to do a twist here, put our, in my case, it's my left hand, and turn our left foot back. And then in this twist, we're going to move, we're going to lift our right arm up. If that's too much for your shoulder, you can bend your elbow and place it on your sacrum. And here we're just feeling the stretch in our legs. We're feeling the openness in our chest. We're inhaling, feeling the expansion in our chest. And we're feeling the energy moving out our heel. Now we're going to twist back into our triangle pose. We're going to move our feet in a little bit into our triangle. And with our front leg straightened, we're just going to, I'm just sliding my arm down my shin. And I have my arm up. Once again, I feel the heat in my body, that tapas that's igniting the posture. And I'm breathing quite heavily here, which is okay. I'm trying to still my breath a little. I'm looking up, keeping my ribs in. And now we're going to lift up with our arms on our side. And we're going to turn our feet in. And we're going to do a bit of a forward fold here to move to the other side. Here we go. We're just going to put our hands down. And this is a lovely extension of our back, our straight back. We can walk our fingers forward and rest here, breathing. And we can stretch our toes out again from here and lift our arches up so that we feel very grounded in our feet. Our legs are straight. We have to make sure we don't overextend our knees, so we have maybe a tiny bend in them. And you don't want to overdo this. If it's too difficult, you can use blocks to raise yourself up. Okay, now we're going to come back and we're just going to tip our body up to an upright position, and we're going to turn our feet to the other side to warrior two with a bend, in this case in my left knee, and my right leg turned in 45 degrees. Lift our arms up and really feel this beautiful stretch in all directions. Make sure this back knee is straight. And feel your chest rising up here. And your gaze is forward. You can turn and look at your front arm if you like. Look at the tips of your fingers and feel the tips of your opposite hand moving back. The beautiful stretch. And we're going to extend out here and into a side angle, and we're going to put our hand down here and raise our arm up to our ear. Now you can come down and hold on to your ankle. You can have your hand in front or behind your foot. I'm just going to leave it here. And once again, make sure your arches are rising up, igniting the posture. And if your arm is sore, bend your elbow and put the flat of your back of your hand on your sacrum. And this will help you open your chest. And here you can look up. Now we're going to straighten our front leg. I'm going to switch my feet in a bit. My front leg is straight, and we're just going to tip over into triangle pose. You tip at the hip here, arms out. You can drop your hand to your shin, your ankle, your knee, whatever it is you can reach, and your arm comes up. And we try to find some steadiness here. I'm shaking because it's demanding, but I'm working on finding the steadiness and the sweetness in the posture. And then I'm going to come up again into warrior pose. And then I'm just going to come up, turn my feet in, move my feet into the center and stand in Tadasana. Okay. Good. Now, now we're going to work on the triangle. Sorry, we're going to work here on pyramid to revolve triangle. So that's Parsvottanasana, Parsvottanasana to Parivrtta, Trikonasana. So that's pyramid to revolve triangle. Okay, so we're just going to stand with our feet together in mountain pose, and we're going to move one of our feet forward, and I'm just going to tip forward here at the hips and move forward. Now I'm just going to put my hands on the ground, and I'm going to put one hand down and raise the other one up. And then we're going to come down, and I'm just going to move around through the center and turn my feet the other way so that my there. Okay, oops. There, we're going to turn our hips towards our front foot. Our back foot is in 45 degrees. And then we're just going to tip at the hip and go forward, 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 forward. We're going to put our opposite hand down, and we're going to do a reverse posture here, raising this arm up. We're going to breathe carefully here with attention to the inhalation and the exhalation, working to steady our breath. And then we're going to just swing ourselves up and turn our feet in and move once again into mountain pose. Okay, Now we're going to we can just go into chair pose, and then we can drop our hands into a forward fold. We can scoot our feet out and move into a squat pose, and rest here. We can have our hands in prayer position at our chest. Our forearm, our upper arm is actually helping to extend our legs out, and we're trying to keep our back straight. I find this very difficult, and our bottom down, and our neck shouldn't be strained at all. And then we can just put our hands down, scoot our feet in a bit, and then sit down, however you can manage. I'm not very graceful at that. We're going to work on our sitting pose, our staff pose or Dandasana. We have our feet straight out in front of us. We can point our toes. We can do a few ankle exercises here for my aging ankles, which have both been broken. So I have to keep them all limber. And I'm just moving my feet around in two directions, towards the inside and then towards the outside. I'm pointing my toes. I'm pointing my heels, pointing my toes, pointing my heels, pointing my toes, extending my heels, and then I'm sitting up into what's called staff position or Dandasana. Now, I'm just going to rest here for a moment and feel myself move a little bit inside. That was a very hot, heated, fiery series of standing postures. So we can just feel ourselves cooling down here and moving inside. If you need a belt, you can put a belt around your feet, or you can just feel yourself extending forward. You can pull the fat of your bottom back, so your sits bones are sitting right on the ground. And then you can move forward by tipping and bending at the hips and holding onto your shins, or whatever part of your anatomy works with you having your back straight as you tip forward. And your breathing should be what is helping you move forward, because in yoga, when we talk about discipline, a lot of that has to do with disciplining our breathing so that we're attentive to the inhalation, the exhalation, and the way the breath itself can allow us, our spine, to extend through the tip of our head. Our sits bones are moving in the other direction. We're feeling very rooted with our feet, and we're feeling really extended in our upper body. And we can hold on to our toes if we like. We can hold on to the outer part of our feet or the top of our feet. Some people clasp their hands under their feet if you're a miracle worker. And now we're going to just allow our upper torso to round over top of our legs and feel that release. There we go. This is a beautiful resting pose, actually. And it's got a lot of activity in it, but it also has a beautiful sense of rest. And whenever you're tired, just come up. Now, okay, rise up. And we're going to do this pose, which is, I've forgotten the name of it, but anyway, we put our hands to extend them out in our back. Our fingers are facing back, and we're going to plant our feet and lift our hips up and feel the extension in our back. So it's going to be like this. It's kind of an upside down plank. I think it's called reverse plank or something like that. Anyway, here we are, just resting here in this extremely demanding pose. And we're breathing, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, and then we can come down. And I'm just going to move forward a little bit into my forward fold as a little bit of an opposition. And then I'm going to put my legs, arms, hands back. And once again, I'm going to lift my hips up and feel my shoulders. My shoulder blades are coming together. And we're going to just lift up. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Feel yourself, your hips rising up. Your feet are planted on the ground. And then we're going to come down. Good. Now we're going to do a few twists here. Seated twists. We can keep one of my right leg is extended. My left leg is bent. My foot is in the inner thigh. And I'm extending forward. I'm turning a little bit towards my right leg, and I'm extending forward here just to get a little extension. Okay, now we're going to come up, and we're going to put this foot extending out, and then the right foot into your inner thigh. Once again, this is a very modest twist, but it is a twist. We're twisting towards the extended leg, and we're going to hold onto our foot and bend at the hip, extending out, and then you can just drop your head and round over your leg for a few breaths. And in the next inhalation, we're going to come up. We're going to take our right leg and we're going to bend our knee and just move it over to the outside of our left thigh. We can keep our foot extended here, our left foot extended, or we can bend it at the knee and bring it in into a full twist. Now we're going to raise in my case, my left arm up, and I'm going to use that raised knee to work as a bit of a lever to allow me to stretch. Now, the first thing we do is we rise up with our hand. We really can feel ourselves moving up. Our foot is planted on the ground, our right foot, and then we're going to turn as we're rising up and extend our arm out. You can bend at the elbow and really feel that beautiful twist so that you're working towards moving in the opposite direction. Our hand extended behind us is pushing up to give us, once again, a little bit more of a lever. So we're basically in a kind of nutcracker here between our arm at the back and our arm at the front, twisting beautifully. And sometimes you can hear little cracks, creaks in your back, and that's not a good thing if there's no, that is a good thing if there's no pain. And once again, we're going to release, turn around to the front, extend both our legs out, and bend this time our left leg. Our knee stays up, our foot is on the ground, and we're going to bend you can leave this extended right foot out if you like, or you can bend it and until it's near your glute, your heel's near your glute. Once again, raise your right arm up and twist. And here we're going to bend at the elbow or have a straight arm, whichever is more comfortable for you. And we're going to use our back arm to push up to, once again, to make sure that we remember this is an upright pose and we're moving up and around. And we're feeling we can really press into our foot that's on the ground. That will give us some leverage. We can feel our sits bones moving down, our head moving up in that beautiful opposition. Now we're going to come back and once again extend our legs out. I think we'll go back and we'll do a little bit of a boat pose. Now we're going to, we can just sit up and feel, once again, we can move the flesh of our bottom back if we want. And I'm just going to tip back here and bend my knees and then lift I'll lift one knee and then I'll lift the other knee. And then I'm going to lift both knees and I'm going to extend my arms out into a modification of a boat pose. If you want to, you can extend both your legs out and feel a straight back, straight arms, straight legs, and feel yourself breathing, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. There should be no pain in the back. If there is, you can just raise your legs up or put your feet down, whichever you like. Now I'm going to extend one leg out and then back, the other leg out and then back, one leg out and then back, one leg out and then back, and then I'm going to put my feet down. And I'm going to just hold on to my knees and round over my knees. Bring my back a rest. Now, if there's any undue strain, you can just lay down in corpse pose. We're going to do boat pose one more time. I'm just going to lift both my arms and my legs up and just rest here for a moment. Once again, it's demanding and we need to ask ourselves, are you ready for this? And if you are, try it. If you are ready to keep it a little bit longer, try it. If you have any pain anywhere, just come down. And we're going to come down and move into a cross-legged pose. Now I'm just going to bend at my hips and walk my hands forward and rest here. Now you can rest wherever you want to. You can rest here, you can go down to your elbows, or you can go flat onto the ground, whatever feels good. And I'm going to change the cross of my legs. They're not in lotus pose, they're just on the ground. And I'm just going to walk forward. You can stay here. You can come down to your elbows, or you can go full out onto the ground. And you'll find a difference between your hips. In my case, my left hip is very wonky, and I have to really be careful of overextending my hamstring tendons that attach to my bones, because they can get very irritated. And then I'm going to come up. Okay, now we're going to go down on our backs, and we're going to do a beautiful bridge pose. So we're just on our back here. We can tip our tailbone up and then down, tailbone up and then down, tailbone up and then down, tailbone up and then down. And this massages your lower back a little on the floor. We're going to press our feet into the ground and extend our arms out. We can rotate our arms out, and our palms are up, and we're going to raise our tailbone up into bridge pose, and then we're rolling ourselves down. So this is a very easy entrance into bridge pose. We're rotating our tailbone up, and then we're rotating. We're going vertebrae by vertebrae down, and we're rotating our tailbone down. Once again, we're rotating up, vertebrae by vertebrae. We're inhaling because our chest is expanding, If we want to, we can clasp our hands underneath us, or we can hold on to the edges of our mat. We can squiggle our shoulders in if we like underneath us and use that to help us open again. And once again, we're going to really feel this, our hips and our pelvis moving up. Our knees are moving towards the opposite wall. We have our chin is clasped into our collarbone, really, almost. This is a very good posture for lots of parts of our body that we're not even aware of. This helps our nervous system, actually. And we're just going to stay here. You can come down whenever you like. I'm going to roll down now. Slowly, carefully. And I'm just going to windshield wipe my knees from side to side for a minute before we go back up into the bridge. Okay, and one more time, we're going to go up into the bridge. We're going to plant our feet, feel the energy in our feet. Once again, our insteps are igniting, and energy is rising, is going down and up in them. And we're going to tilt our pelvis up, extend it up. I'm clasping my hands underneath my body. You can hold on to the mat. And we're going to do a little bit of a variation. We're going to lift our right knee up, extend our right foot up. We're going to once again inhale, exhale, feel our hips moving up, our chest moving up, and we can point our toe, point our heel, our toe, extend our heel, our toe, and then we can put our foot back down, our right foot. We're going to lift our left foot up, our left knee up, and then extend the foot up, point our toe, our heel, our toe, our heel. We're going to really extend in that foot. Feel our hips are even and our chest is opening even more. We're going to put our foot down, and then we're going to slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, extending our sits bone out, work our way down to the mat. Good. All right, now we're going to rest here for a moment. Breathe evenly, catching our breath. I like the idea of catching our breath, that our breath escapes us sometimes and goes wandering, and we have to catch it into our body again. Okay, we're inhaling and we're exhaling, inhaling and exhaling, and we're just going to extend our left leg out, and we're going to tip our bent right knee over. We can lift our hips up and actually move ourselves onto the left side hip, and we can, now here your knee might come down, it might not. You decide what you want to do. You can put a block there, you can hold it. You don't have to come all the way down if you don't want, but this is a lovely stretch if you can do it. And I'm just going to extend my arms out. Now, some of you, I have a shoulder that doesn't do what I want it to do. So if I do this, I just learned this, you don't want to overextend the front of your shoulder too much when you're doing this. So I'm going to just move my arm around like the arms of a clock. But when I get to about 11 o'clock, it really does hurt. And I need to do more work, other kinds of movements in my shoulder. So I lift my arm up off of the ground here. I don't want to extend it too much. And then I can drop it down when it comes to the other side here. And then I can go back and I can lift it up here so that there's some extension in my shoulder, but you don't want to harm it. So, and then over here, I can drop it down when it gets close to my hip. And I'll try that one more time. And here I have to lift it up. Now on the other side, I don't have to do this because my arms, like everyone else's arms, are not completely equal. And once again, I'm extending with my hand. Here I'm lifting up. You might be able to keep your hand on the ground. And we're just going to roll onto our back again, extend our right leg out. I'm going to lift up so that I'm turning onto my right hip, and I'm bending my left knee and moving it towards the ground. And once again, I'm looking towards my left, and this arm I find works a little bit differently. So I can actually keep it on the ground all the way around and to the front, and then all the way around to the back. But you can, if you like, you can lift it up, and so the extent, there's still a stretch, but it's not an extension that's going to overstretch the front of your shoulder. Okay, we're going to do this one more time. So we're going to extend out, breathing in, and then as we move to the other side, we can exhale. Okay, I've lied. We're going to do it one more time. We're going to inhale and extend our arm out. Feel that beautiful opening in our ribs. And then we're going to, that was an exhalation going down, an inhalation. And then we're going to exhale when we come back. And we're going to move back onto our back. And we're just going to lay here for a moment, and we can windshield wipe our knees if we have any issues in the back of our body. We can get, if we want to, we can get a cushion or a blanket to put underneath our upper thighs. I'm going to get my bolster, which after 40 years of yoga, I finally got, which I really love. But it took me 40 years to get a bolster, but they really are handy. And I'm just going to put it underneath my hips there. Now I'm going to, I was looking for a poem that would have to do with tapas and have to do with fire and heat. And I looked up, then I thought about how the origin of the word tapas is from actually the birthing process, the labor process, and the kind of brooding and that happens. And I was thinking about brooding and hens, and I found this poem, this beautiful poem by Emily Dickinson, who she died in 1882. She is, of course, one of the greatest poets in English, and she was undiscovered most of her life, except by a correspondent and a few people. So this is about brooding and ends. There is a connection to tapas, but I quite love it. And I'm just going to ask you to really feel the release now that we're on our back. You can have your knees up if you like. You can have them splayed out if you like. You can have your legs extended. You should feel your shoulder blades moving down your back. The front of your body, your chest, your collarbone can be open. Your arms can be just laid out on the floor. You can relax your jaw. You can relax the furrow between your eyes. You can feel your face relaxing. You can feel the skin on your skull relaxing. You can move your head from side to side gently. You can feel yourself really oozing into the floor. I feel the floor becomes elastic at the end of the class. So this is the poem by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that's kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. I'll read it again. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. And I'm just going to leave you in silence for a few moments to rest here. And when you feel ready, you can stretch out your fingers and your toes, your feet, your legs, your arms. You can curve into a fetal position, move onto your side, and you can push yourself up in that order, or any order really. Or you can just stay there and rest, feeling the ease and the sweetness and the contentment of having explored tapas and the discipline of finding yourself on the mat, extending yourself and your body and your spirit into postures that are both familiar and always strange again, because we find ourselves differently in them every time. Thank you all very much, and I'll see you soon.